Hi, I'm Rose, and today I'm going to show you how to make a mom step by step and also give you a few ideas. Okay, to make a small mom, you're going to need some of the smaller circles. These are 4.5 inches. You can find these at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and they come in a package of 3 or 4. I am also using a smaller mom flower, so this is a 4-inch flower. If you're making a medium-sized mom, you want to go with a 6-inch circle and a 6-inch flower. First, we want to start by decorating our base. You want to make some loops, and I'll show you a few different examples you can use. Here's a double layer loop. Here's another 2-layer loop with a smaller ribbon in the center, and this one is a double loop. And you can also make some single ribbons that look just like this. Here's another one similar to a Christmas bow. To make a loop, you want to take 2 different size ribbons. I've got my wider ribbon on the bottom and the smaller one on top. If you're making a medium-sized mom, you want to cut them 5 inches long. If you're making the small mom, you cut them 4 inches long. You want to go ahead and fold this in half, and then you're just going to staple the end, and very easy, you have yourself a loop. To make this one, we take 2 ribbons, and you want to slightly overlap the ends like this. Fold them over, kind of spread them out a little bit like this. Staple the ends. Okay, and you have yourself another loop. To make one of these, you take a ribbon. You're going to fold the shiny part. If you're using a shiny ribbon, you want to fold the shiny part inward so that the raw part is facing you. Fold the end over. Grab your scissors and you want to cut a diagonal line, cutting diagonally. Just like this. And then here's your ribbon. Another way you can decorate is you can take 2 different ribbons. I've got one that's kind of like a mesh type ribbon that I've laid on top, or you can use a transparent ribbon, and you want to go ahead and turn it over. Then you're going to turn one side and then fold it in, and this is going to give you kind of like a Christmas bow type ribbon. We're just going to staple the inside, and here you have another loop. Another quick tip is you can use tulle as filler in between your loops. I've got about a 4-inch long tulle, and I'm going to go ahead and just bunch it up at the bottom, and then you want to staple it on your circle in between your loops, and then just trim the top. Okay, so I've already pre-made the loops that I want to use on my small mom, and I'm going to start by stapling my first loop right on top. And if you notice, the circle does have these lines. You can use those as guides. And you could either hot glue it or staple it. I'm just going to go ahead and staple this one just like this. I'm going to take another one, and you want to staple across from it. And then we want to staple right in the center in between. So basically you're making a cross, okay? Now that we have our first 4 ribbons on here, now we're going to be stapling my white ribbons, and I'm gonna go ahead and go in between these 2 ribbons. I'm gonna center my white ribbon. And we want to staple this. And then you're going to go again in between each one across from the white one. Okay, so far we have a total of 4 orange ribbons and 4 white ribbons. Now we're going to go in with some silver ribbon, and I'm going to place these in between my loops, and these are a total of 8 ribbons. For these silver ribbons, if you're making the larger mom, you want to cut them 4 inches long. If you're making the smaller mom, you want to go ahead and cut 3-inch long ribbons. Okay, once your base is decorated, we're going to be adding our flour. And if you notice, our flour actually comes with this green thing on the bottom. We want to go ahead and remove that and throw it in the trash. I'm going to go ahead and slightly trim this about here. I hope you guys can see. All right, so now we're going to take our flour and we're going to dig in the center because there's actually a little hole in the center. We're going to go ahead and take a pipe cleaner and we're going to be inserting the pipe cleaner inside the hole. And then to one end, you could either tie a knot or you can just kind of twist it into like a little circle. We're trying to create a little stopper so that the pipe cleaner doesn't go all the way through. All right, so we just want to go ahead and pull the pipe cleaner all the way until the little stopper hits the top. And this is just so that the flour doesn't fall apart. Okay, so on the bottom, we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of this green part and throw that in the trash. We won't be needing that anymore. That's just so it's not so bulky. Now we want to take our pipe cleaner and we're going to wrap this around the little stem that's left over. We're just going to wrap this a few times and then we're going to cut the excess. All right, it's time to attach our flour to our base. So you want to go ahead and take your hot glue gun and you want to add some glue around the stem for reinforcement and then glue all around the base. And we're going to put this on our base. You're going to make sure that you put the little stem inside the hole. Just push that in and squeeze them together so that it's glued in nicely. We're going to set this aside, let it dry, and start on our second circle. On our second circle, we're going to be placing all of our ribbons, and I like to start with my center ribbon, and I've got a wide white ribbon on the bottom and a silver decorative ribbon on top. I have cut these 11 inches long. Okay, so I'm going to be placing my ribbon under the circle and I'm going to be stapling it this way. But first, I'm going to go ahead and just staple these two together so they don't move. Staple on each side. So I've got my center here and I went in maybe about an inch or so. I'm going to continue decorating my center ribbon using these 4-inch long loops that I made, and we're going to just place these down the center, giving it a cascading effect. I'm using my glue gun, and then we are just going to glue this right in the center like this. And then we're going to take another ribbon and we're going to go underneath and we're going to glue another ribbon just like this. Okay, so make sure that you do push the ribbon in. I'm going to continue gluing all my loops and I'm using a total of 9 loops all the way down. So now again, my ribbons are 11 inches long. This one is about a 3/4 inch ribbon, and I'm going to go in with a blue and we're going to put this right underneath like this. And we're going to go ahead and staple that on there as well. We'll add another blue to the other side. All right, now we're going to go in with an 11-inch ribbon. This is again about 3/4 inches. And I'm going to add this to the back. And I don't want a whole lot to show, just a little bit of white. Make sure that you don't go outside of this circle too much, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing to this side. All right, so now I've got this Madison Mavs ribbon, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this one on top this time because I want my Madison maps to show. So I'm gonna overlap it, but I'm gonna add it on top and staple. Okay, so I have this, we've got spirit ribbon, or maybe I'll add it on top. Okay, so I've got this senior ribbon. It's a little bit wider, so I'm gonna add it underneath and just slightly tilt it to my right. So since I went with white on that side, I'm gonna go ahead and do a white glitter right underneath this one. Okay, besides the ribbon, you can also add other decorations. Like I've got these star strands. We want to go ahead and glue one on each side. Go ahead and glue one strand of pearls on one side. And when you glue the pearls, don't glue it up at the top because don't forget you got to put your flower in and you don't want it to be really bulky, otherwise you won't be able to close it. So just go right underneath where your ribbon starts, or I'm sorry, right underneath where your circle ends. That's where you want to go ahead and glue your pearls. Okay, so I added the silver ribbon. I thought I had another one, I don't. So I guess we just have one there. But I'm gonna take some of my curly ribbon. And with this, what I like to do is I like to curl it first before I cut it. That way I know how long to cut my curly ribbon. And I'm gonna go ahead and hang some curly ribbon also. All right, so once I've done that, I kind of see where it falls, and then I trim. And I guess I'll add some on this side too. You don't have to add a bunch of stuff. You can make it pretty basic. Before I forget, when you place your ribbons on here, make sure that you place them underneath the little hole. You don't want to block the hole. Once your ribbons are in place, you want to go ahead and glue your flower. Just make sure that you pay attention as to exactly where you're setting your flower. Sometimes some of the loops on the flower might not go well with the bottom piece. So just pay attention to that, and you want to go ahead and stick that little stem in the hole and glue that sucker down. And we are going to add a bunch of glue. Make sure that you add glue around here. I like to add it around the stem for reinforcement, and add plenty of glue. Okay, and then just be careful because it gets really hot. And then we're going to be just putting this inside. I'm going to put the little stem inside the hole. I like to staple it for reinforcement, so just grab your stapler. And in the inside, staple about 3 or 4 times. One on top, and then maybe one on each side. Okay, I've got some glitter letters here, and normally I would put my daughter's name, but since this one is for me, I'm gonna go ahead and put Bree's mom. Okay, so I usually decorate my flower using these little decorations you find at the store. You can find them for cheer, band, football, whatever you may have. But today I'm going to try something a little different. I've got a cheer pin of my daughter's, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that in the center, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so we want to go ahead and add some hot glue around the rim of our button. Just be very careful because the glue does get pretty hot. Kind of drop this right in the center and see what happens. I'm kind of squishing it in there so my flower isn't gonna stick out like it normally does, but I want to make sure that my pin doesn't fall off either. Okay, so once you push your button in there, you may want to add a little bit of glue in between and just kind of push it down just for a little reinforcement right in between the flower petals. I've got a couple of glitter footballs that I'm going to tie using my curly ribbon that I have on here. I'm going to tie one on each side. Sometimes I like to use bells. Usually I add the bells on my daughter's mom's, not on mine. I don't want to jingle all over the place. Okay, so now that I'm looking at my mom, sometimes you might want to see things you don't like this silver one. Since I didn't have another one for the other side, I kind of don't really like the way it looks, and I'm just going to go ahead and just trim that one off. And just leave it like this. I hope this helps you get started with your mom. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.